That imp was among the bravest creatures I have yet met, my friend. As says the legend of Gorwyn, so the gods will honor all who heed nobility's calm call. I am sure the gods will honor Axix as they honor the highest heroes in the Hall of Echoes.
Oh, thank you! That silly old snowball went mad after I started nibbling his carrot. I never can resist the temptation, you know? I'm Hopper, wooer of does, lover of carrots, and devotee of jumps and skips. Up to it. That's my motto. Clever, huh? This is the land of fairy, a vast realm of wonder. But sadly, you happen to be near its most charmless spot, the dungeon keep of the Fairy King, where the worst of all the worlds are gathered. Boreas is the king's name. He is winter incarnate, and ever since he's become the ruler of this land, we've been living in eternal snow. Luckily, my coat is as warm and cuddly as it looks, or my tender little ticker would have stopped hopping a long time ago. Nothing much. Only swore him once, and I nearly froze my tail off just looking at the cad. You had better bring some fire and brimstone to the table if you plan on having a hop with that insane icicle. If anyone's responsible for the mayhem around here lately, it's him. You're looking for a witch? Want her to turn you into a rabbit? Or a frog, perhaps? Those are good hoppers, too, frogs. Yes, I've a great respect for those fellows. Sorry, I tend to ramble. So, let me hop right to the point. If you're looking for someone here in Hyberheim, chances are they're locked up in the prison. The maniac Snow King Boreas keeps all prisoners sent to his realm locked up within. Your hopping days are over when he gets his hands on you. Beats me. I don't even know where it is. Maybe you should hop over and ask the king himself. Let me think. A chasm surrounds the castle, but I know of a spot where it's narrow enough to hop right over. From the look of you, you'll probably end up as a red stain on the chasm floor, should you attempt that jump. But I guess it wouldn't hurt to show you the place I mean. Follow me.
There must be a way out of here. There must be a way home. Maybe I am going nuts. I have no idea what's going on. One minute I'm out on a jog with my dog Rocky, and the next I'm headfirst in the snow with snowmen all around me. And they're talking and poking me and demanding to know which source lord I serve. And I'm just a normal guy. I'm not crazy, am I? Hell if I know. All I did was ask for a phone, and these monsters threw me in this dungeon. They asked so many questions, but I had no idea what any of it meant. And this place, it isn't normal. The snow talks. There are magic wands, and little red people, and talking animals, and no toilets. It's full of dead bodies and vermin, and the snow people seem to be in charge. God, what I wouldn't give for a drink. Well, it'd be pretty fantastic if I knew what the hell were happening. Where I am, what I'm doing here. I've got a life, you know. A house, a car, friends, and a family waiting for me. Isn't there a single phone in this damn place? I'd settle for a telegraph at this rate. What? No, I'm not crazy. Please, you must believe me. I don't belong here. You hear me? I don't belong here.
Source Hunter, you have found us. Here she is at last. Ikara. Oh, but look at her. She has been encased in ice so unyielding that none of my spells melt even a fraction of its surface. You find me at a loss. I admit it. For I've no idea what sorcery, or dare I say it, sorcery will set her free. Like I said, so far my attempts at rescuing her have been about as effective as trapping a robin's shadow. No, I believe that if we want to free Ikara, we'll have to find the one who imprisoned her in the first place. This frost-touched magic isn't Leandra's doing. It has Boreas written all over it. The Winter King did this to her. So the Winter King's the key.
There thou art! The upstart that seeketh to upset the harmony of Heimerheim! Why hast thou ventured here, Avatar of Man? Why dost thou seek the downfall of Lord, nay, King Boreas, Sovereign of Winter? So thou seeketh but another human, a worm of no import. But though thou tramplest through my realm and besiegest my fortress, thou shalt not have her! Fairy, I have marcheth to the gallows, Heimerheim drawn forth from freeze and frost. How they mocketh me, my brother seasons! Thou art the ugliest quarter, they saith to my frozen face. Thou art the blemish of the year, fool that thou art, my brothers! Winter is the jewel of the seasons, and now it is the ruler of time and Heim! Heimerheim! 'Tis easy when thou hast but to wish upon a well, and the generous pit delivereth unto thee the power of chaos. It doth whisper, the demon straight into my wintry wit, and a woman he sendeth forth into the fields of Faerie. The stone of stars, no more doth she ask of me. The stone and blood of imps. In return she giveth unto me this staff, my siblings enslaved within. Strong are they, these immaculates, stronger than thee. For thy wield the powers of darkest demons. And stronger than thee I am too. The lord of all the seasons, the ruler of all the elements, the one king of eternal winter! I, Avatar, I! Thou hast traveled far and delveth deep into the heart of winter, but here thou shalt find thine end. Ice preserveth life and death, and in between the two, thou shalt spend the ages in frost encased!
Oh, hero, 'tis I, the Summer King. Wholly do I... Hey, quit shoving! Knock it off, will you? I'm trying to... Excuse me.
Out of the way! It's Lurian's turn! Well, I thought the day would never come! Thanks for giving old Carrot Face the great melt. We and the Earth Kingdom owe you a tremendous... what? Well, you'll have to wait your turn. Oh, for the love of all that's igneous, go ahead then, if it'll stop your owling.
I'll answer that. We are the sovereigns of the seasons, kind hero. And we thank you for saving us from our rather deranged brother, the one-time King of Winter. I am Sua of the Summer Kingdom. These are my siblings, Semista of Spring and Lorien of Autumn. We overheard a crafty little imp named Gigix tell Boreas that the staff can only be destroyed where it was created, the Elemental Forge. He seemed to imply that the forge was somewhere in Heimerheim itself, but I know not its exact location. Better the crackle of embers than this idiotic blustering.
Oh, cover your ears, hero! Nothing whips up a flame like a wild wind!
The Elemental Forge, hero. It's the only way. Brother, sister, we are free! And who is this? Can it be that a frail mortal human faced and bested our own scheming Boreas? Ah, but this is no mortal, I see. Strange you'd take the guise of a source hunter. But I shall of course honor your chosen form. Indeed, I suppose I should have expected that one of your kind would snare our brother sooner or later. Boreas always did dance uncomfortably close to the dark arts. suppose the others of we elemental monarchs thought it better not to interfere in the affairs of his realm. No, like fools we waited for his pride, his hunger for more and ever more power, to pull us from our own seats of safety and into his sordid storm. We, and with us all the subjects of the realm of Fairy, do owe you our lives, Source Hunter. No, not if, but when, we might be of assistance to you in this dimension, you must call upon me personally. I am King Sewer of the Summit Kingdom of Calvia, brother, alongside the other elemental monarchs, to the unfortunate and insane Boreas. In earlier days, we ruled the four realms of Fairy in relative peace, each of us the master of our own kingdom. But something changed in Boreas. He grew darker somehow, more than was typical of his usual melancholy. We worried, yes, but chose not to intervene. Boreas was the Lord of Hyberheim, and it was his right to rule it as he pleased. When our brother called the elemental seats to convene in Hyberheim, we were ecstatic. Boreas seemed again interested in the joint rule of Fairy, in upholding the long-established diplomacy of our lands. When we arrived, however, it was not Boreas who greeted us, but a dark figure. A woman with a stare like blackest fire. In her staff she held a demonic power, the likes of which I've never felt. And as we were sucked into its depths, we thought we'd never see the light of Fairy again. I listened closely when I could to Boreas' doings. From what I could tell, it seems this woman had little contact with our deranged brother after the initial exchange of the staff. From what I could tell, the arrangement was thus. She gave him us, contained, and in return he gave her access to his great star stone, and scores of imps he'd invited to Hyberheim. After that, the two parted, and I heard little more of the woman. In his fits of madness, Boreas would sometimes bellow abuse about the demon woman. I can only assume he meant the same who trapped us. Source Hunter, it would be my sincerest honor. Take this rune and use it to summon me when you're near the witch once more. If she can be extracted from Boreas' ice, I'll find a way to make it so. This is your white witch, then. And you're sure you want to free her, are you? Even our mad Boreas wouldn't have wasted such precious ice on a petty criminal. Whatever she did to find herself here must have been rather severe indeed. But I am in your debt, and I would be remiss not to honor your request. Shield your eyes, Source Hunter. To melt ice of this refinement, I'll need to summon an equally rare flame.
Gods, it's colder than a witch's teat. How very callous of Leandra to entire her only sister in a barren tundra for eternity.
Ikara, you're all right? The ice, King Boreas, and your sister. What a frigid hell you've endured.
And yet not even a frigid hell like this could induce you to put on a shirt, could it, Ahu? My old friend, surely I have you to thank for my salvation.
That honor goes to a pair of talented source hunters, actually. If not for their efforts, I'd be quite uselessly prowling around your prison still.
Then perhaps I ought to address my savior directly. Source Hunter, is that the masquerade? Well, what a motley crew we are. Isn't there somewhere a bit warmer we might discuss matters? Ah, yes, of course, of course. Do pardon me. I didn't mean to imply you were very clearly eternal beings in the guise of minor mortals. Not at all. Please, let's do carry on. Oh, yes, I suppose I am. But I do prefer my given name. Ikara, that is. Charmed. But I hope I haven't disappointed my own hero. Am I just as white and witchy as you'd hoped? First things first, Source Hunter. For my freedom, I owe you every imaginable thanks. My soul had withered in this prison, and I might not have survived much longer without your help. Now, about the culprits. My corrupted sister and the mad Winter King. When I realized exactly where, and to whom Leandra was consigning me, I was certain I'd never enjoy the sun's warmth again. But neither she nor I anticipated the Source Hunter. That was her mistake, and my blessing. I never would have imagined Leandra capable of dealing with the likes of Boreas, but she has changed into someone I hardly recognize anymore. I take no pleasure in the memory of that night. The thought of hurting anyone or anything is abhorrent to me. But in this case, I judged it necessary. If you've come this far, I trust you've learned that the Counselor was far from a humble civil servant. This doesn't excuse my behavior, but perhaps it can help to explain it. It's a sordid story, to be perfectly frank. Two sisters, a philanderous, treacherous wizard, death and mayhem. Are you sure you're interested in such things? The sparkle in your eye belies your better nature, Source Hunter. Now I know that it is your duty to get to the heart of this. And, in truth, the events of that night were but one part of a larger and much darker matter. A matter in which I'll dare to beg your assistance before we're through with one another. Now that terrible night. One night, as I slept, I had a sudden revelation. No dream, but a vision. My sister Leandra and my lover Zandalor. I didn't understand, but I recognized their location. Syceel's King Crab Inn. I arrived and looked through their window, but inside, everything was wrong. Leandra had fled, and Counselor Jake stood over the wizard, a knife in his hand and hate in his eyes. As I watched, he drove the dagger deep into Zandalor's heart, and I was too late to stop him. In that moment, I broke. I saw before me not a man, not even a beast, but evil incarnate. And I used Source to slay him. On the floor lay Zandalor. In my hands, I held Jake's life force. I had sworn never to use Source, but I couldn't walk away. And so I did the unthinkable. I used the Counselor's life to save Zandalor's. He was alive, but only just. Betrayal. Murder. Source. We were all of us guilty now. If you were any other Source Hunter, I suppose you'd strike me down where I stand after that terrible admission. Fortunately for us both, you are no other Source Hunter. My own little sister, if you can imagine it. She was always the more ambitious, the more exacting of us, and she had no fear of the darkness that so often accompanies Source. Her collusion with King Boreas in imprisoning me here confirms my worst fears. She is planning something far greater than I could have anticipated. For this reason, and with a heavy heart, I must ask you, Source Hunter, to find out how far exactly Leandra has become entwined in the dark arts. I hate to extend my own invitation, Source Hunter, but I believe I ought to accompany you to Zigzax's hideout. Presumptuous, yes, but I'd recognize the imp's essence just about anywhere. Both he and you must learn more about the darkness that has extended itself into our dearest Rivellon. And I believe I know where we must begin. Ah, but unless that's a bear flailing through the threads of time, I do believe Master Zigzax is on his way. Make way, Source Hunter, landing in 3, 2...
Hunters, you've done it! Ikara is free! Ah, what good it does my impish heart to see her safe and bright as ever! We have much to discuss. Come one and all to the end of time. A spot of something warm and the soft glow of the tapestry ought to do us all a bit of good,
Why, I see Master Zigzax has upgraded from his shabby little hut at the edge of the hour, from the fairy dimension to the, space-time weaver hunter imp one. What do you call this place again? Ha! Is that so? It seems I have my share to learn about the magical world yet. The end of time. Well, suddenly your association with Master Zigzax makes sense. Well, I must say, it's no small relief to find myself in a safe haven among such allies. I believe the answer to that begins centuries ago, when your order was still cutting down so-called dark magicians by the dozens. Ours was a family of born sorcerers, you see. It was in our blood to interact with Source. But our parents were determined to curb the power within us. Still, their meekness wouldn't save them from the Source Hunters. I am, but there is more to our kind than they teach at your academy. Source isn't only blood and madness. It's like lightning, an exquisite current of great power. We sorcerers are like metal steeples. Source is drawn to us and it flows through us. But what so many fail to understand is that Source can be controlled. The power drunk through history have abused it, and all the world's sorcerers have borne terrible consequences. Tell me, Source Hunter, in all your hours studying the arcane arts, did your great masters ever suggest that perhaps not all sorcerers were evil? Did you ever hear, even once, that some of us were weak and gentle, that we could be simple forest folk healing the sick and frozen each winter? No. I doubt also that they'd mention that one day this hunt of yours would birth a broken soul powerful enough to inch all of Rivellon toward oblivion. No, that would be going too far and eschewing my own responsibility. I believe Leandra's long fall down did begin at the hands of some of your own order, but it was I who sparked all of this. They came on a quiet morning. My mother was wild with fright and commanded me to hide myself and Leandra outside, among the trees. Even at that young age, we knew not to question her. We climbed high into the branches of a nearby tree, and before we could look away, our parents were cut down without ceremony before our door. The Source Hunters sauntered away, wiping their blades with pride. 2 more sorcerers dead, a job well done. From that moment on, everything was different. As we trembled in that tree, our fear and our desperation were so potent that the magic within us began to weave together. Our souls became forged together, our bond unbreakable. We would survive, thrive even, within those woods, never speaking to outsiders. Our soul forge meant that if one of us were to die, the other would instantly perish too. We kept one another close. Leandra's capacity was enormous. Source didn't frighten her, and she delved into that dark well with terrible regularity. I did my best to guide her, but she fast outgrew my admonitions. My sister and I were mired in a solitary existence, witches among the trees when Zandalore came. Leandra especially couldn't leave him be. He was a feast of information, and she wouldn't rest until she'd absorbed every bit of knowledge he offered. Their days were spent on charms, hexes, and the like. At night, Leandra would wander off to practice what she'd learned, and Zandelor and I would settle into our quiet tasks, side by side. We were a content trio, the three of us, but base impulse would undo us. As you know, Leandra and I were soul-forged. This offered us a window into one another's souls. I knew Leandra had developed feelings for Zandelor, and she knew I had too. But it was me to whom he confessed his love. Those quiet evenings together had captured his heart, as they had mine. Her heart broke the moment we announced our new attachment, and I felt the pain of it as sharply as a knife. She fled, without a word, and I didn't see her for 2 terrible years. My connection to her, our soul forge, grew weaker. It was as though some third entity, a parasite, were atop our souls, sucking the strength from it day by day. I believe that our soul forge has been damaged. By what? I can only guess. The fraying of the bond between us has left Leandra adrift in a well of sorrow she truly believes will never end. What she needs is a hand, my hand, out of this abyss. If our soul forge is repaired, I am certain she'll cease blazing this path of destruction. We've a single order of business first and foremost. Leandra is gathering an army, and I fear we'll have to get through it if we wish to find her. But first, we must learn more about Leandra's plans. How many of these so-called Immaculates does she have in her palm, and to what end is she directing them? Your journey must begin in the Lacula mines, where she has been accumulating materials and manpower for a purpose as yet unknown. The way will be dangerous. Her allies are growing more powerful and numerous by the minute, but we must discover exactly what Leandra is planning and why. A soul forge comes with its own benefits, Source Hunter. Though our connection has weakened, I still see the occasional vision of Leandra's doings, the pangs of her deepest felt emotions, and flashes of her triumphs. One vision. I had thought it was only a nightmare, but now I see it was something much worse. Leandra is collecting materials, precisely what, I cannot say, and is hard at work shaping them into something sinister. Her frustrations are rivaled only by her mirth. I can see she's growing closer and closer to achieving something dire. You must make your way deep into the mines to see exactly what she's planning. I cannot condone the terrible things she's done, but I can seek to understand them. With our soul forge in such tatters, I believe Leandra is adrift in the not at all inconsiderable sorrows of our lives. What's more, I sense a terrible force bearing down upon the bond between us. It is hungry, and it consumes ever more of Leandra's mind and soul. I cannot say exactly what this force might be, but I'm certain it's both driving me out and driving Leandra on. If I could only repair the forge, I'm certain she'd put a stop to this madness. The way may be treacherous, but you must get inside. I fear my sister is doing something dreadful so far from the light of day.
Good to see you on the shelter plane. A home away from home, is it not? Of all the wicked things, the one substance that can stand in the way of the void, and she's turning it into vessels of blight. You'll have to redouble your efforts, my friend. You'll have to find more starstones before she does, and forestall her insidious distortions.
Troll toll! Pay the toll, human, or I'll squeeze you like a funny yellow fruit. I am Grumble. And when I roar, the birds take flight. The airs head for the horizon. The goblins pray to their totems, and the earth itself thinks it's about to quake. So be forthcoming, human, or my roar will shatter your eardrums, and you will meet your death in crushing silence. Broken? What rot? The bridge is perfectly fine. Sturdy as if it was built yesterday. Oh, but you're trying to be clever, aren't you? You want me to turn so you can run without paying. Your tricks won't work, human. Pay, or I'll grind you like pepper. You are unworthy to hear of the king. You must pay to walk his lands. But you must not make him the topic of idle conversation. Oh, I can't believe... Fine, I shall tell you. Our king lives in a great cave here in the woods, by the canyon that leads to the mine. But a mere wanderer won't find him so easily. The cave is here, yeah, but its true nature lies in the realm of fairy. Enter if you must, but only stone will greet you. Magic is needed to see the king, and I have no head for magic. Ask one of the other trolls. Ask Archibald. He's the one with brains, that one. He knows that 3 and 5 make... What 3 and 5 make? Ask him. We troll, ask toll, because our king commands it. All hail the king! 1,000 gold coins buys you passage. Refuse, and I'll pound you so deep into the ground, the moles will take you for one of their own.
I think not, troll. Let's see what kind of stuff you're made of.
Let's teach this here troll there's no money to be had from us.
Those who refuse are my favourites. Time to wrench the life from your weak little frame.
There you both are. Marvelous. Your efforts have borne even more fruit. A new piece of the tapestry has been mended. The weaver's been hard at work with the thread Starstone has borne her, and a whole portion of history has been rewoven. Rejoice, my friends, rejoice! For now we witness a tale from the eons torn from time, but now, thanks to you, restored.
After the war was won, the Void Dragon remained a great threat to all existence. And so, upon the anvil of creation, the God Box was crafted. The void was locked within, but still the question remained: who would guard the box? The 2 generals offered themselves. They would give up life and glory to stand sentinel. Transformed into immortal beings, they would be the Void's eternal guardians. They placed the box and the guardians in the first garden, home of Astarte and of the world's most beautiful power, Source. For time immemorial, the guardians stood by the God Box, no longer human in body or in mind, but duty personified.
So that is who we were. Demigod guardians of the God Box.
This is not who we were. That is who they were. The ones that hijacked our souls.
I reckon you're right. Besides, even gods can die. And from what we've seen here in this realm, little good came from being a half-divine.
I salute you, my master. Other elementals lie in wait until with a word you command them to action. Which one of them, pray, has your preference? And that is your final choice?
Yes, it is.
Yes, indeed. That is our final choice.
Thy will be done.
The spirit of Father Nature came to me in a dream last night, and he told me to welcome you. Can't you tell? I'm the universe. You're the universe. We're all the universe. It's a beautiful thing, to be sure. I noticed you were bringing this place in close contact with the spirit of nature, and I thought to myself, that's where I belong. Thanks for putting me up.
I can't believe it. I never thought I'd see another human face uncorrupted by immaculate madness. I hid when I heard your voice, but you don't look like the lunatics here that slave the dead. Will I escape this infernal pit after all? Will I escape the dreaded Hell Lords? I'm Mykas, a craftsman from Hunter's Edge, a village some miles to the east of here. Orcs raided our town and sold us to the goblins as slaves. Little did we know that they were to pass us on to the remorseless necromancers here in the mines. Yeah, you heard me right. Necromancers. My family, my friends, they were all turned into undead slaves by those most deviant of sorcerers and forced to unearth Tenebrium. I managed to escape in the darkness of the tunnels and was just about to head for the daylight when I heard you approach. Because of the Tenebrium, of course. That stuff will give you rot right quickly, and after that, rot will kill you right slowly. But if you're naught but a skeleton with a pickaxe, what then? Rot can't touch you, can it? So that's what they do, the vile maniacs. They procure people, slaughter them, and wrench their souls back from the shores of death to mine the days away. I don't even know why they do it. Tenebrium, it blights all that it touches. Good for nothing is what it is. The worst. I can't imagine a crueler death. They say some genius up in Silverglen first hired the goblins to clear away Tenebrium when his miners started to fall ill. Them nasty critters are immune to its contagion, they said. What nonsense. The goblins aren't immune at all. They just wanted to take possession of the mine. Their chief, a sickening brute called Sadakandras, simply forced everyone out. Those who put up a struggle were speared and sacrificed to goblin totems. Then, away from prying eyes, the Immaculates moved in, and the undead horror began. Those fools of goblins don't even realise they're no more than cogs in the Immaculate machine. Why, I've even seen a number of them held as prisoners just a corridor away. Soon there'll be no more than skeletal slaves. You make it sound like a carnival dropped by. Carnage, more like. Mayhem and death. That's what the orcs spread. To think we thought ourselves lucky they didn't eat us all on the spot, but rounded us up to be sold into slavery. We escaped certain death only to face certain deathlessness. Talk about your rock and a hard place. By the seven, I don't know. Never have I seen anything like them. They're creatures dressed in knight's armour that's black as coal. The very ground trembles when they approach, and their eyes shine with demon mania. To even think about them is to struggle with almost irrepressible panic. What about them? I'm afraid I've been navigating these mine shafts rather like a fish out of water. All I can do is advise you to leave and don't look back. But if you're determined to push on, be warned that a handful of Immaculates is the least of your worries. The necromancers weave powerful magic, and as I fled, I nearly ran into one of the Hell Lords. Had it seen me, had I met its eyes, I know I'd have gone mad. I looked away and ran as fast as I could. Only darkness awaits you here, the dark and the dead. Indeed, bunch of loons. I haven't the foggiest what their plans are, but it has nothing to do with mining for silver, and that's a goddamn certainty. Them and their goddess-lording ways seem to have taken hold in Silverglen. But I bet the people there have no idea what the boys high up, or should I say down low in the mines, are really plotting. Curse their ignorance and curse their gullibility. Immaculates, the real ones I mean, the ones in power, they are setting something in motion that I hope to be far, far away from when that something finally rears its head. As will I. It's just that I'm torn. Should I hang low right here just a little bit longer, or should I make a run for it? What do you think?
I say run. Why sit and wait for death?
I concur. Run while you can.
Yeah, you're right. Better make a dash for it while I've still got a chance. But wait a moment, who's that you've got with you? Medora, is that you? Found another group of dupes to betray, have you? But can it really be you? Something's different.
You've recognized her rightly. That's Medora indeed.
The one and only.
Ah, so it is you, you chicken-livered craven. Rolled out the map for the orcs in Hunter's Edge and come to do the same for the Hell Lords here, is that it? And your face. Looks like one of the townsfolk sliced you up before you managed to sell them to Gruntilda, eh? Well, to hell with you. In any case, now's the time for me to escape. Good riddance to this godforsaken place, and to you.
Vile human scum! Sadakandras will hear of filthy, immaculate betrayal. He will put you all up on a pole and let it slide slowly into your bowels until your screams of agony will rid the forest of all that lives. So terrified will be even the worm that crawls and the bird that flies. That does not matter, little louse. All humans will suffer the wrath of the totems for the shame that has befallen us. I am Drexis, favored of totems. Were that I had my spear, this mine would be a blood-spattered waste if I were free. Not even the tremor demons could stop me. He is the chief of our tribe's seat, the greatest of goblins alive. For the promise that hides in bloodstone does he follow the human female they call Conduit. She has his respect. All others have but his contempt. The slavers may their bones splinter inside their living flesh. They lured us in here. They said they had found an ancient totem, but that was a lie! They need more slaves to unearth Tenebrium. So soon they shall give us to the necromancers. Let them come. I shall claw their eyeballs from their skulls for their trespass and shove them down their throats. Lawrence? Leave it to that coward to send another to do his dirty work. I thank you for telling me, human. To Lawrence I shall go after I escape from this cell and show him the tricks I can do with a knife. If my nose does not betray me, and it never does, they have been forged in blood. The power of the bloodstone runs through them, the blood of 1,000 spirits. They course through the stones they hold, through the living rock. Blood, blood, blood! In blood the spirits roam free!